What was interesting about your story in getting to know you is that you are in talent acquisition and university recruiting, but you also were laid off,
Mm.
and so you've seen it from both sides. And I guess the next question that I have for you is, how did it feel getting laid off? Did it feel like,
Mm.
what, I've been in, talent acquisition and recruiting. I got this. I know how it works. In my own particular circumstances, I had been at the company for almost 10 years. I'm like, how do you actually navigate a job search now after 10 years? Has the world moved on? Are my skills no longer needed? From your perspective, having come from a recruiting job and then getting laid off, what was the experience for you like?
That's a great question. So I've been on both sides of layoffs. I've been on the HR side, supporting the process for people to be laid off, and that's a really hard place to be. And then I've been on the side of being laid off, and that's a very hard place to be. But I think what I focus on specifically at this point in my career is that there are many things that I cannot control in this life, and there are many things I can control. Over time, I try to spend more energy on the things that I can control. But I also think that, when I got laid off, I think it was in 2023, and it was around the time coming out of COVID where layoffs were just like everywhere. There were like
Yeah.
thousands of people getting laid off at every company. And a lot of people said to me at the time, you're so good at what you do. You'll be fine. You'll get a job right away. And I was, that felt wonderful, but I knew that wasn't necessarily the reality. And
Right.
so even though I was a recruiter and knowing kind of how the sausage gets made on the inside about recruiting, putting yourself in, on the other side of, the fence, being the person recruited, I started to think, okay, I know how it works, but this is kind of different. We're in different times here than I've ever seen before. So I
Yeah.
have to have a slightly different approach, and I can only focus and control on me and what I put out into the job search, and kind of like not stress about the other stuff that I can't control. And a lot of people, like you mentioned, kind of think, oh, why me? All of this thinking about personal, it being personal. And it's not a personal decision. And that's something that people really have to lean into. It's like the company is making a business decision. And if you
Right.
can kind of get into that mindset and move on from that and focus on what you need to do, I think is the most important thing. So for me, I really kind of tried to balance, the emotions of getting laid off and really enjoying the job I was in, realizing I
Right.
couldn't do that anymore. So trying to really like push through all of the negative feelings and the frustration to get on the other side of where I needed to put things into action. And so I had a friend who was laid off with me at the same time. We worked at the same company, and she started in her job search. She had just relocated the week before the job that we got laid off, literally
Hmm.
relocated.
Wow.
And so I started helping her because this was the first time she had been in this position, to help her focus. And that actually then helped me and kind of to prep me for my search as well. So it gave me something to focus on, so which was really good. But I also knew I had to do the same for myself. But it just took a minute to figure things
Yeah.
out, that it wasn't in my control about the layoffs, and I had to focus on what I could do.